A very good afternoon to you. Welcome along. It's Saturday afternoon and it's the 10th of September. Is it the 10th? It's the 11th Saturday afternoon, just gone 3 o'clock. The 11th of September 2010 on this Saturday afternoon. I've got to apologise. My name's Chris Reardon. This is United Kingdom Talk on United Kingdom Radio. Warm welcome along to you. We must say sorry to Ian Duff. Because on Thursday's show, if you were with us on Thursday, you will know we were talking about African eyeworms. Now, if you miss a show, you may now be wondering what... Now, you see, you can't miss a show, dear. It's like EastEnders or Coronation Street. If you miss a show, you miss what's going on. You won't have a clue what's going on. But you don't have... You can always listen again. Okay, I shall tell you how to do that in a moment. Yeah, the African eyeworm, which is something I discovered the other... No, I haven't got African eyeworm. Oh, it's the most vile thing ever. If you're wondering what it is, have a little listen or a watch of Thursday's show. Now, you can find that at United Kingdom Talk.co.uk. UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Anyway, we're talking about the African eyeworm. And Ian writes, "Good morning, Chris. I was having my breakfast while you were discussing the African eyeworm. Now we were going on about snake fangs. Yeah, we talked about the fangs in snakes. Oh, you know, yeah, I mean, don't think that the teeth in snakes are small. These things are like, you know, centimetres long, the fangs in snakes." He says, "I hope I can listen to the end of the podcast without losing our breakfast." And that's from Ian on the iPad. Well, a couple of things there, Ian. He's got an iPad. He's watching on an iPad. Can you believe that? How exciting. Who's got an iPad? Have you got one? I can't afford such things. I have a lowly old Dell laptop, I'm afraid. Just an ordinary, very, very ordinary Dell laptop. No iPad here. Especially after I DJ with my laptop as well, you see. Can you DJ with an iPad? Has anyone got an iPad that you can actually DJ with? I wonder. Now, you can contact the show today by email, whether you're watching live or a podcast. Feel free to use the email. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk is my email address. If you are watching live or listening live, it's just gone 3 minutes past 2 on Saturday, the 11th of September 2010. If that UK time, if that's the time where you are now, then you are with us live. And you can join in live either by Skype. Our Skype username is United Kingdom Radio. All one word. Okay, United Kingdom Radio. You can either call in via Skype or send little Skype messages, whatever you want to do. Or we have a phone number as well. It's a local London number, and the local London phone number is 020 3287 1488. 020 3287 1488. Do you have an iPad? Do you have an iPad? If you do, okay, if you have an iPad, have you DJ'd with it? Can you DJ with an iPad? Got some messages coming in here already. Good morning to Zach, who's in Australia. Whereabouts are you in Australia? Let's have a look. New South Wales in Australia. Oh, you must be near Sydney, are you? Who says, "I've stayed up long enough today to catch a live broadcast." Well done, Zach. Oh, hang on a minute. I don't think you're the only Australian. No, you're not. Brent's with us as well. Good morning, Brent. He's on Norfolk Island. My God, we're beaming to the other side of the world today, aren't we? Hello, Brent. You with us live today? How exciting. He says, Brent says there's nothing wrong with Dells. I know there's nothing wrong with Dells. This show is using a Dell computer to come to you. I've always had laptops from Dell. Dell and Toshiba I tend to go for. Nothing wrong with Dells at all. Hello, Brent. Have you lost a bit of weight? I'm very concerned. I'm looking at a picture of you on your Skype and you look a bit thin in the face. Have you not? Because I know he's left home, you see. Brent has left home. And the worry, you see, they leave home, come up. Mothers everywhere will know this. They don't eat properly. Come on, you know I'm telling the truth. They don't eat properly, mums, do they? 1 minute, they're not eating enough and they're losing weight, which it looks like what's happened to Brent here. I'm very concerned, Brent. And on the other side, Sometimes they start eating the wrong stuff and it's all pizzas and burgers and they blow it like that. Great big fat things. Come on, boys and girls. You must eat properly. Zach, are you eating properly? It does concern me. It really does. Next time, I tell you what, Brent. When I come over to Norfolk Island, January around the 13th, somewhere around the 13th it is. When I come over, we must go out for dinner at Olives. No, breakfast. Breakfast at Olives, which is a tiny little place. If you're new to the show, you won't have a clue what Norfolk Island is. It is paradise. Norfolk Island is paradise, and I discovered it last year. It is a tiny, tiny little island in the middle of the South Pacific, in between Australia and New Zealand, a little bit closer to New Zealand, about 2 hours from either place. You stand on the highest point at the top of the mountain. It's not like a mountain what you can't go up, not like Ben Nevis. You haven't got to go up there on ropes and things on the side of your shoes that you stick into the mountain. I mean, there is a road, okay? There is a road, and if you're very lucky, a policeman will take you up the top and show you everything. That's where the transmitter is. Anyway, you get to the top of this mountain, and you look around, and it's like, just amazing. Just amazing. If you want to go on a holiday where you want nightclubs and getting drunk and all that, that's the wrong place for you to go, okay? Tell you that now. But for someone like me, perhaps a little bit older, want peace and quiet, there's plenty of water... things to do in the water and all that business, okay, then that's the place for you. I cannot recommend it enough. Norfolk Island in the South Pacific. I really can't. Anyway, Brent apparently is living, as you see, it gets very worrying. He's living on noodles and boxes of wine. That's what's happening. Brent, you're losing weight by the minute. I'm very concerned. Can I have your mother's phone number? I'm going to report you to your mother. And what else are you getting up to while you're away from... Oh, I dread to think. I absolutely dread to think. You haven't even got Alison to look after you out there, have you, eh? Please eat properly. Yes. Zach says, I wish I could have an iPad. Yeah, me too, Zach. I don't know if I'd use it, though. I mean, the other day I was in a bookshop. I bought the... one of our ex-prime ministers has written a book. And I've never, ever bought a political book before. Tony Blair. And I bought that in the shop. And while I was there, I'm not a great reader. I tend to lose interest, to be honest. Although at the moment I'm up to about page 45. Okay, and I'm still reading it. So we're still into that book at the moment. But while I was in there, they had these electronic book readers. Like the Kindle. Or the Sony book reader. Not cheap gadgets, I will say. They cost about... They're around the sort of £140, £150 mark, to be honest. I mean, quite a lot of money for something like that, isn't it? But anyway, to actually hold this bit of plastic, similar to an iPad, because you can do the same on the iPad. You can download books on that. But to actually read a book off it, and it just doesn't appeal to me at all. There's something very special about holding a book, even a paperback book, And don't you feel a sense of achievement? As you go through the book and then perhaps you read a few more pages that night and then you put it down and you put your little bookmark in or piece of paper, or in my case a £10 note. You put it in the book, in the leaves. And, and then you put the book down and you see how much you've read. And I do almost feel a sense of achievement into... getting through the book. And I just can't see myself holding an iPad or are they called e-readers or book readers? The electronic things. I cannot see myself doing that. I mean, I know you can hold 400 or 500 books on one of these readers, but do you see what I'm saying? Is this an age thing? I mean, Zach and Brent, both of you are below the age of 25, I think. Would you be interested in reading books on an e-reader, I wonder? Is it me that's... Is it perhaps the older generation, which I admit I am one of, yes? Is it the older generation that is not taking to these things? I can't see myself. I mean, the iPad is a wonderful thing. You know, it looks wonderful. But I don't want to be looking at this thing all day. I mean, it's bad enough when I'm at work. Okay, whether I'm DJing or doing karaoke, I use a laptop. The laptop is set up either directly in front of me or slightly to the side. Now, as a DJ, in the past when I was playing records and CDs, you would put the record or CD on and then you would look at people dancing and then maybe go over to your box and choose the next record or whatever, depending on what sort of DJ you are. I was the sort of DJ that reacts to the crowd. Okay, I don't have a specific set. Some DJs have a specific set before they get to a place. They have already worked out what records they're going to play or what tracks they're going to play in what order. I don't do that. I react to the crowd. If something's not working, I'll change it. Okay? So there was plenty of time to do all that. Now, with a computer, this thing is on next to you or in front of you. And I find it very, very difficult to take my eyes away from the screen. Anyone else find that? Also, in most of the places I work now, they have wireless internet. So, of course, while I'm DJing, rather naughtily, I'm also on the internet as well. Perhaps on Skype or chatting on an email or on the Facebook or anything like that. And I find it very, very difficult to look away from the computer and look out into the audience. I think, you know, you are almost drawn to a computer screen that's flickering away there in the corner somehow. I find it very difficult. And then I think, right, you've got to turn it off. So I close the internet on, and the only thing I've got running on the screen then is my music software. And I try to look away. And very quickly I think to myself, oh, I just check to see if I've got a message. And this goes on for hours. And by the end of the night, I have to admit, I'm really sick to death of sitting there and looking at that computer screen. Do you get like that at home or at work? Do you get fed up? You think, oh my God, how much longer have I got to look at this computer screen? And then you look out the window and see what's out there. And it relieves your eyes immediately. But very quickly, I find myself drawn back towards the computer. I cannot look. Am I addicted to looking at computers, I wonder? Zach says, is Brett a uni student? Because I think that's what they eat there. No offence if you are, Brent. I think he is, actually. I think he is a student. And he's surviving on noodles and boxes of white. You know what these students... It's the same here in the UK. They get this grant or money from their parents. They spend it all at the weekends on drink. And then the next day, oh, we've got no food. Oh, we've got no food. Oh, where's all our money gone? Well, it's gone on booze. That's why. Booze and cigarettes. And God knows what else. We all know what these students do. Terrible. But perhaps have we got any adults watching or listening to the show who were a student and did exactly that? You used to go out and spend all your money on booze and cigarettes, probably drugs as well, some of you. And then during the week, oh, we got no money left for food. Oh, we got no food. Can we get some food? We got no money left. Here's the question, boys, those of you that are older. How many of you, if you had the chance, would do it all over again? Eh? Let me know. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Skype in, if you're with us live, 14 minutes past 3, Saturday, the 11th of September, 2010. Join in on the Skype. Skype username is United Kingdom Radio. All one word, all right? Zach says, I'm not sure that I can't stand reading off a computer screen as much as reading a book, but I'm not sure. I'll have to give it a try. Yeah, I'll be interested. Books or computer screens? What do you prefer? Stacey says, good morning, Chris. I've had an iPad until I broke it. Oh, you are? Did you break your iPad? How did you do that? My God, you can't have had it that long before you broke it. Shocking. Millie's on the line. We're coming to you in a second, Millie. Just hold on there, my darling. All right? I can't believe you broke your iPad, Stacey. By the way, did you get on any well with installing that little program I sent you? If I could talk to you privately, perhaps after the show for that, and we'll see if we can get you sorted on that, Stacey. Okay, Stacey has his own show here on United Kingdom Radio on Sunday evenings at 6 o'clock UK time. All right, Sunday evenings at 6 o'clock UK time. Stacey is a policeman who's in charge of the chief of police in a town in Oklahoma, USA. He's with us every Sunday night at 6 o'clock UK time. Hello to Sean. Sean's not with you this afternoon. He's off to a barbecue and he says he'd bring me back a doggy bag with food in it. Well, probably not, to be honest. Couple of weeks ago, I tried to cut out all processed meats and as much saturated fat as I could. So we're off the sausages and the bacon and all that. I really am becoming someone who eats very little meat. Okay, now and again, I'm not saying I'm vegetarian, far from it, okay? I do like a McDonald's now and again, but not every day. There's nothing wrong with having it every day. But I tend to steer clear as much as I can of fast food restaurants. So thank you for the offer, but no, all right? Hello to Fagash Lil is with us this afternoon. Fagash, you haven't spoken to me for ages, darling. Where are you in the mornings when I'm here in the mornings? Who says, oh, Craig Chris, you need to start the show again. I've missed 3 minutes of it as the video is terrible this afternoon. So bad that I've switched to audio, yeah. I'm afraid the video doesn't always work very well. For some reason, it seems to get better as the show goes on. That's the live video, okay? If you go to unitedkingdomradio.co.uk, you can always select watch or listen. Okay, most people listen, a few watch. But for some reason, we've never been able to work it out, the beginning of the show is always a little bit funny on the video going out. By now, it's probably all right. Okay, not sure about that. Hello to Ian Miller, who says, hi, how are you? Guess I'm a little late. No, we're here, Ian. I'm very well, thank you very much. Ian is in Scotland. Da, 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 da. Many iPads up there in Scotland, Ian? Eh? We got many up there? Fag Ashley also says, on the subject of books or computers, books are better, as I don't think I'd like to take an iPad into the bathroom. Well, I mean, you say that, you know, if you dropped your book in the bath, you wouldn't be able to read that either, would you? I haven't got a bath. I don't have a bath here at all. I have a shower, and I'm going to have a little go at fixing it. I've been fixing things this week. I don't know what came over me. I'll come on to that in a minute, okay, after we've just done these other couple of messages. Stacey says, I was teaching a class, and it knocked off the table. Oh, he lost his iPad already. I can't believe you've broken one already. Is it off for repair, or is it unrepairable? Dear, dear me. He says, what about turkey sausages? Do you eat those? I don't think I've ever had a turkey sausage. The processed meats and the saturated fats, I have completely tried. You can't cut it out completely. I mean, you know, margarine or butter, something like that, probably in bread. But I've cut an awful lot of it out. Virtually all red meat is gone. All of it. So I'm doing quite well there, yeah. You'll have to do me some of those, a barbecue when I come over there sometime to Oklahoma, all right? Zach says he does prefer reading books at the moment. We've got a call coming in from Millie in Minnesota. Hello, Millie.
Good morning.
Hello, my darling. All right, you're a bit quiet. Come closer.
Oh, gotcha.
That's it. You all right?
Yeah, I'm sort of in a reflective mood today because of it being 9/11, and it also happened to be my dear auntie's birthday on that particular day, and that was the day she was celebrating her very last one.
Right.
So I'm in a bit of a reflective mood, but otherwise I'm okay.
Good.
Yeah.
So books or computers, Millie?
Both, actually. I do both.
Oh, really? Have you actually read a book on your... Have you got a laptop, haven't you?
I have, yes.
Have you actually read an entire book off your laptop?
I have.
And how do you find that?
I find it really, really easy, and I say both because sometimes when I'm doing stuff online and I want to find something to listen to online, but I don't want to do music.
Yeah.
I'll listen to something in audiobook form.
An audio book, yes, okay. But actually reading a book on your screen, are you okay with that? Or do you get kind of screen ache after a while, or what?
I'm okay with it. I just tend to take, little breaks every now and again, because the books I choose are like the classics books, like The Wizard of Oz, the long ones. And I find that I do kind of need to take a break from those, but I usually will get right back to it.
Given the choice, what would you rather, a book or to read something on the computer?
I probably would choose a book simply because I can, it's easily you can carry it around easily.
Yeah. Poor old Stacey's knocked his iPod off the desk at school when he was teaching some kids.
Oh no!
Yeah, it must be, I don't know, £600 or £700 machine there. They're not cheap,
you know what?
they?
I've done worse.
Yeah.
I've spilled water on my laptop and had to replace it.
Ooh, they couldn't repair it, no? Let me give you a little tip here. Let me give you a little tip. Mobile phone, laptop, any electrical gadget, okay? If you ever get water on it, immediately, don't wait, don't try and use it, immediately get that battery off as quickly as you can, right? Laptop, mobile phone. If it's an electrical item, it's a little bit more dodgy. Let's just stick to things that are powered by batteries. Video camera. If you get water in it or on it, immediately it's no good just turning it off. Remove the battery quickly and then leave it somewhere very warm and dry for 2 or 3 days. Do not try and turn it on, okay? And then after 2 or 3 days, put the battery back on and see if it works. If you're very, very lucky, it will have dried out. You see, the damage is caused if it's switched on with the battery, okay, or switched off. And what happens if the water gets in there and short circuits something with the power going through it, yeah?
Right.
Now, if you've taken the battery off, there's no power going through it. And if you're quick enough, you might just have removed that battery before the short circuit happened. So always do that. And whatever you do, Millie, don't put it in a microwave oven, my love.
I would never do that.
People do that, you know.
You would do that.
People do.
You would do that.
People have tried to dry off their dog in a It's shocking, isn't it? Their dog in a microwave oven.
You're kidding. You're having a laugh. You're teasing me.
Stories like that. I've heard stories like that over the years. Shocking.
You're teasing me again.
I mean, what about, when you've done your wash and that? I mean, have you ever put a pair of your knickers in there?
No. No, I would never be that stupid.
What sort of knickers have you got? Are they those little string things or what, Millie?
They're G-strings, and no, I don't have any of those things.
I don't see the attraction of those. I mean, who wants a bit of string going up, halfway up your whatever? You don't want it, do you? I mean, they can't be comfortable, those G-string things.
No. No.
Millie, thanks for calling in. It's lovely to talk to you, my darling.
Okay, I will talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Millie. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheerio, Millie. Brent's writing in here. He says, books are great, but the concept of the iPad is pretty cool. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, you can download magazines onto it and all this, and you've got no paper. But again, I think there's something very special about a magazine, the way you can just flick through it, not touch this bit of plastic. Too much plastic. There's too much plastic. He says, the very concept of the iPad is very cool. It's like having a book that does other things. How awesome. I do like them. Don't get me wrong, I do like them. But with the iPad, you know how sometimes you can't laptop screens outside? How does the iPad go in direct sunlight? So there's a question there for Stacey, I think, because he's had an iPad. Can you tell us, how does it work? Does it work well in direct sunlight, or do you have to kind of, you know, put your coat or something, or your arm over it to stop the sun going on there? Fagash Lil says, I've spent many cans of diet water. Diet water, do me a favour. You mean cans of lager, dear? Oh, she's a bit of an alkie. Yeah, Fagash, she's a bit of an alkie. She's got cans, she's got one of those houses. You go round there, because I've seen it with my own eyes. You go round there, cans of lager, empty lager everywhere. You won't find a half, oh no, she wouldn't leave it. You know, bottles of spirits. Oh, it's a shocking state of affairs. Shocking state of affairs. Fast food, pizza boxes all over the place. The place is a mess, I'm telling you now. Anyway, Fagash Lil says, I have spilt many cans of, and she says diet water, but we know she means lager, really, onto the keyboard of my PC. I unplug it, turn it upside down for a few hours, and it works fine once it's dried out. Yeah, that's the way to do it. You've got to unplug it. I would leave it for a couple of days, to be honest. And she also says, G-strings are also known as cheese wire. Shows how comfy they are. They must really cut into it. What is the point of even wearing one of those? What is the point of wearing one of those G-strings? I don't know. I really don't know. Zach says, how would it work with something like the iPod, where the battery is sealed inside the device and next to impossible to open? Well, you can't do it, can you? I mean, if it's like that, what I would suggest is that you turn it off as quickly as possible and then don't use it for a few days. Leave it somewhere warm and then keep your fingers crossed. All right. Okie doke. Let's have a look here. We've got some emails coming in there. Oh, yes. Stacey says, I've never used the iPad in direct sunlight, but I wouldn't think it would work well. Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe someone else can let us know. Has anyone got an iPad and used it in direct sunlight? How does it cope? Okay, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. We're doing an email here. And this is from the lovely Susan. Okay? Susan disappeared for a few months. She was a bit busy doing other things. But she's back again. And she says, hello, Chris. You mentioned you hadn't heard from me in quite a while. Susan's in Dallas, in Texas. I must put in my 2 cents. I write in quite a bit. Is it you that... Oh dear, you know what I've done here? I've printed this. Let me see if I've got this, if I've still got this email, because it's printed. The print's gone wrong on it. Let me see. Are we going to be lucky? Yes, we are. Let me just... I can read it. Actually, I can read it off the screen, can't I? That would be better. Yeah, there we are. Jennifer says, hello Chris, you mentioned that you hadn't heard from me in quite a while. I must put in my 2 cents. It is you that delay the emails. I write in quite a bit, so I am there, just not live when you record. I do, however, listen to every podcast as soon as it comes out. Now, I don't mean to delay the emails. It's just how it happens sometimes, I'm afraid. We get a little bit bogged down, and then I kind of fall behind, and then I start whittling on about something completely different, and it all goes a bit wrong. So, there we are. Sorry, Jennifer. It's all my fault, you see. Apparently, it's all my fault. Well, thank you, Jennifer. She says, I know the cows need looking after, because she used to look after cows. But I had to quit. I had humbled myself to that level of work long enough, and it was just time to leave. I was working in a cattle trailer opening bread. Most of the time it was the same day of the delivery, but if Bear didn't get round to emptying the buckets of bread, there would be nothing to empty the bags of bread into. And it had to sit in the trailer for a few days. Oh, it would have gone all off, wouldn't it? Mouldy. We don't like mouldy bread, isn't it horrible? I have been known, actually, to cut off the mouldy bits of bread and eat the rest of it. Yeah, I have. It's true. By then, it was turning mouldy. See, it had been rained on, covered in bird, iguana, and raccoon poo. How vile. Sometimes the bread was so rancid, the loaf was actually hot and swollen from fermenting inside the bag. God's sake, it sounds like my bed, actually. I kind of ferment in there most of the time. I didn't sleep very well last night at all. I don't know why. I kept waking up to go to the toilet. Strange. I'm not normally like that. She says, not only was that disgusting, it was bad for my health, as I had mentioned in the last email about the black mould in my bedroom. Oh, she's got black mould in the bedroom now. It's very bad for the respiratory system. You'll get asthma, you know. I thought I had mould here, but it was the cat. The trailer was out in the elements. It was hot. We'd get rained on every day and the bread would just turn into slime. There were, oh, I hate this, there were mini cockroaches within the woodwork of the flooring that would come out when you moved the bread. It was pretty disgusting, Chris. Now, that's the one thing I didn't like about Norfolk Island. They have on there flying cockroaches. Honest? Oh, they're vile. You go to hit one on the wall and it flies off. Flying cockroaches. Not my idea of a nice creature. I also had an argument with Bear. Out of the goodness of my heart, if I had an empty truck bed, I would take the garbage. If it got left there, the wild animals would tear into the bags of torn bread bags and strew them all over the property. Recently, as I'd mentioned about getting overloaded with books, or maybe you need an iPad, because you can get 400 books on an iPad or more, I think. I have had my truck packed with books. So much so that I can't unload them into the house since I've run out of room. They sit in my truck until I can get to them. Oh dear, you must read a lot. Well, one day I had to leave the trash bags in there and Bear didn't take them and they got shredded. What, the books? I cleaned up the mess and let Bear know he needed to take the bags of trash out of the room. They sit in my truck until I can get... Just a minute. Oh, man. Did he have a cow? Was he moaning, was he? Was he moaning? Don't take any notice of him, dear. Oh, they're always moaning. People are always moaning, aren't they? Always moaning. I told him it wasn't my responsibility to take the trash and I was doing it to be nice and neat and he could do it once in a while. What a fit this old man threw, and I just walked away from him and I haven't spoken to him since. After all that work you did for him as well. That's unbelievable, isn't it? He's been begging and pleading my friend to do the bread and help him around the house. I feel bad on one hand for bailing on him, but so frustrated with his nasty old man attitude and Mao's chauvinistic thoughts and his needs. I just can't do it anymore. It was just overwhelming to help someone and not get paid, especially with him not being family and living quite a distance from me. It's been a real stress in my life since his wife died and I just had him. Since I've been doing bread or helping him around the house, I'm a little more at peace and not running around constantly for his needs, my needs and my family needs. Is that bad of me? No, you've got to put your family first. You know, you've got to put your family first. I'll tell you what, you know, I mean, I'm actually quite hard to upset, right? I mean, things go on around me all the time. I take them or I leave them. Very rarely do I get angry or upset. And I give people chance after chance after chance. I mean, it can go on for years. Seriously. But occasionally something happens and I think, that's it. And I cut them off completely. I have no contact with them after that. So, I mean, it's up to you. But if you really feel that you've, been annoyed that much, then just walk away and that's it. And don't talk to them anymore. I do. I give people chance after chance after chance. And eventually I snap. I don't usually start shouting and screaming at someone. It doesn't achieve anything. I just switch off and I walk away. I don't answer the phone or anything like that. I don't talk to them anymore. Don't want to talk to them anymore. How many chances can you give people, you know? How many chances do they want? She continues her email. Tuesday, the 7th of September, payroll is done, and I can email you for a bit, because she works in an office, you see. And my boss, Lucky Charms, is not coming in, so I can email for a little bit longer. Oh, you naughty thing. Don't get caught. Don't get caught. I was listening to Saturday's show on the 4th of September, so that's, was that last week, wasn't it? And wanted to comment on a bike, because I said I'd been cycling that day. Remember I lost my mobile phone last Saturday? Do you remember that? I got it back in the end. Did you miss that show? I told you, you can't miss a show, because you won't know what's going on, will you? You can watch all the old shows or listen to them. UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. That's where you find them. UnitedKingdomTalk.co.uk. Susan says, would you believe my daughter's mountain bike was stolen out of our backyard? Oh, that's horrible, isn't it? I had a bike stolen as well. About 15 years ago from my garage. They broke into the garage to steal the bike. It wasn't a posh bike. I don't have posh things. You know, bog standard bike. They broke into the garage and nicked it. Terrible. It was a beautiful purple bike with big knobby tyres. I had found it chained to a tree with a for sale sign for $50. I gladly paid it, and it was more than worth it. Well, she didn't put it in the shed, and somebody walked into our gated backyard and rode off with it. And then she says a rude word which I cannot mention on this programme. Well, a week or so later, my mother was coming home from taking care of one of our horses and found the grey mountain bike sitting on the side of the road on the sidewalk, just sitting there. So she stopped and quickly tossed it into the truck of her car and brought it home. It's great, it does need a little work. Well, that's stolen property, that is, Susan. You can't go around nicking people's bikes, dear. I bet someone left that there. Oh, that's terrible, dear. The brakes... Susan, how do you know that wasn't someone's bike and they'd left it there while they'd gone in to get a pint of milk or something? She says the brakes need adjusting and the tyres are flat on it, but it's probably dumped, wasn't it? I haven't had any liquid money to go and purchase inner tubes for the tyres on the seat. My lord, how do men sit on those little itty-bitty hard seats? I don't know, I haven't got one. I've got a soft seat on both my bikes. We can't be doing with hard chairs, thank you. Doesn't that kind of seat damage the goods? Well, that's funny you should say that. No, it doesn't, does it? I don't know why it doesn't, actually. When you think about it, chaps, when you're sitting on a bike, it's right touching it, isn't it? Why doesn't that damage you? Funny, isn't it? I have to replace that with a nice bouncy seat and get another bike lock. I'm going to need that fixed soon because my oldest daughter has got a job. Excellent. In this horrible economy, she's found one. It's close enough to home that she can bike it. Yeah, what's she doing? You haven't told us what she's doing. Doesn't matter what it is. Tell us what she's doing, okay? Then you were talking about your chavvy spandex cycle suit. Now, I don't have a spandex cycle suit. I was saying that people that wear them do look a bit odd. I think they're one of the worst fashions ever. Those spandex cycling suits. I haven't got one. Well, Jennifer... Did I say Susan? It's not. It's Jennifer. I'm sorry. It's Jennifer. I'm getting confused here. Jennifer says, I don't find them particularly attractive. All the lumps and rolls anyone has to show, anyone has who wears them will show. It's not as bad. And that fat old Canadian man who came down here to the Hollywood Fort Lauderdale area for the winter. Oh my God, they have no shame. Aren't they awful, those spandex outfits? And the funny thing is, most of the people who have got those haven't got nice bodies. It's like when you go, I go swimming every day. But Monday to Friday I go, sometimes Saturday or Sunday as well. And, I've got a pair of swimming shorts. Okay, a pair of shorts they are. And so have most of the other people. The only people that wear those Speedos or really tight trunks are fat, middle-aged men. And it is the most vile thing ever. It'd be like me wearing a pair of them. You can't do it. Why do people wear these things? Spandex outfits. Blooming awful they are. Oh, where's Jennifer? There we are. She says, if it weren't for the little itty-bitty Speedo bikini to cover their privates, we'd see everything. It was vile, isn't it? Fat, nasty old hairy men with dark tans. It's a shock horror. Well, to my surprise, Lucky Charms isn't sick. He's magically appeared, so I must be going now. And that's from Jennifer. I don't know why I called you Susan. I called you Susan all the way through that, didn't I? Sorry, Jennifer. Nice to hear from you, my darling. You don't be a stranger, Jennifer, dear. Brent says, well, at least there isn't anything that can kill you, unlike Australia, where nature is waiting for you. He's talking about Norfolk Island. Once again, this particular island of paradise, I call it. There are no nasties on there. You know, like in Australia, you hear about the spiders, the crocodiles, the jellyfish and all that. I don't know if it's jellyfish on Norfolk Island, but there are no spiders or the crocodiles on the island. It is just paradise. Absolutely beautiful place, and the pace of life is very, very slow. Very slow. Right, let's have a look here. Where are we going now? Right, good. I was going to tell you, yes, I've bought a new gadget, a couple of new things this week. First of all, now you know I'm a great tea drinker. I have bought two cups with lids. One's a red one, one's a blue one. I've got a red one in front of me. You can hear the lid, and the lid goes on the top, and it's like, you know those paper cups that you can get from McDonald's and all that, and they got a lid on the top, a little slit where the liquid or the tea or whatever comes out. Well, it's like that, but it's reusable. Look at this. Listen to this. That's the little thing opening and closing on there. Little hole to so that you can drink the tea out of it, and it keeps warm for ages. So I bought two of those this week. Also, I have bought this. Now listen. I'm not gonna. If those of you watching, I'm not gonna let you see. I'm gonna hide it. What do you think this is? You ready? Any idea? I do it again. Anyone want to guess that? If you're with us live, guess what it is, okay? Join us by email, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk, or Skype, United Kingdom Radio. All one word, United Kingdom Radio. What do you think that is? And I shall reveal all in a moment, because I have been very busy. Now, I think I mentioned to you on Thursday's show that people are coming round to insulate my loft. I got a phone call on Tuesday from a company, said I was entitled to a government grant and I can have my loft insulated to a depth of 11 inches for £129. I've got a 3-bedroom house, and that sounded pretty good to me. So they came, and that was it. And the bloke came and said, yes, we're happy to do that for you, but you'll have to empty the loft. So I said, right, yeah, that's not a problem. And he said, you'll also have to lift the boards that you've put down to crawl over. I said, yeah, that's fine. So he went. And then I went up there and I thought, oh my God, you know, I've got to move all this stuff. It was packed mainly with video cassettes and CDs, CD singles, right? And there's also my accounts I keep up there, and a few unwanted electrical items and what have you. And I stood there and I thought, do you know what? And I'm sure homeowners will know this. Stuff goes in the loft and it doesn't come back down again. Other than Christmas decorations, you know. And although it wasn't actually rammed completely full of stuff, right, there was a fair bit up there. I looked at it and I thought, I've got to move all this. Where do I start? And they'd already given me an appointment date that I'm going to have the roof insulated on the 13th of October. Now, that sounds like a long time. It's about 4 or 5 weeks. And I thought, well, I've got 4 or 5 weeks to do it. And as I stood up there, and I thought, no. If you leave it, it will get left till the last minute, and then it will be a mad rush. And I had a couple of days where I wasn't doing much, and I thought, now is the time to do this. Do it now. And I started clearing the loft. I'm so pleased with myself. Now, the video cassettes went first, right? You know those black bin liners? I had 5, get this, 5 black bin liners, right, full of video cassettes. Zach wants to guess. Is it a drill or a coffee machine? No, it isn't. Here's the noise again. You have to guess what this is. It's my new gadget. Oh, hang on. New gadget. What is it? What is it? Right. 5 bin liners full of them. took them all in the car, took them down the dump. Very disappointing. I said, well, I've got video cassettes here, mate. I said, where can I put these? He said, oh no, they go in the general waste. I said, is there no way of recycling these? And he said, no. So, and I thought, what a terrible waste. You know, all that plastic and tape, and they can't recycle any of it. Which I thought that was a great shame, that was. So there I was dumping all these video cassettes. Now, I think the secret of this is, if the stuff has been up there for a long time, okay? Some of those video cassettes have been up there literally 20 years. 20 years. They are not going to get watched, are they? I don't know what you're like, but I'm one of those people, oh, I'll put it over there in case I want it. I think there comes a point where you've got to say it's never going to happen, dear. And the other mistake that you make is, as you're taking these, don't start going through them. Oh, I'll keep that one. Oh, because you'll be there all day and you won't achieve what you wanted to achieve. Literally, I picked up these boxes of videotape. I admit I scanned over them very quickly with the eye, and I pulled out a couple. One was a videotape that I haven't seen for so long, 1992, when I was in Florida, and I took my son and my ex-wife to Florida, and I found that tape. So I'm quite pleased about that. I'll have to set up the video recorder and have a little watch of that. So I rescued that one, and I mean 5 altogether. Out of all those bags, 5 tapes I rescued by quickly. But you mustn't start going through them all bit by bit, because you'll never throw anything away. I'll tell you that now. You will absolutely not throw anything away. So that went down the dump, and then I came back, and a lot of the CD singles, I took them down from the loft and put them in the kitchen with the thought, and it was now like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This took me ages to do all this. It was now 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I thought, well, I don't want to go down the dump now because I get caught in the traffic and all that business. So I decided kind of to take them down on the Friday. So that was it. And I went up there and I thought, oh, I'll just move a few more things. And actually, by the end of the day, it got to about 5:15 in the afternoon on Thursday, and I'd finished. Everything had been cleared out of the loft, and I was so pleased with myself, and I felt really dirty. The other thing is, I've already got some insulation up, and it's an awful fiberglass stuff. You know, that wool, and you get it on you, don't you? And it's all prickly and horrible stuff, that is. Horrible, horrible stuff to handle. So I was very pleased with myself. Anyway, went to work that night, rung up my mate, Justin. He runs a pub. I used to work for him, this steam coach in Hemel Hempstead. And he says, you've done what? I said, I just chucked away. He said, there might have been some good stuff. I said, Justin, I told you ages ago there would come a day where I was going to do this. Now it's done. Don't tell me that I shouldn't have done it, right? You've had ample opportunity to come around. He said, are you getting rid of anything else? I said, yes, I've got 7 crates of CD singles. He said, don't chuck them. I said, I don't want them in the house. I want them gone. They're going down there tomorrow. He says, well, bring them over here. I said, I'm not bringing them anywhere. I said, 12 o'clock tomorrow. I tell you what, get to my house by 12. You can take them home. Otherwise, they're going down the dump. He said, look, bring them round here. I'll put them on eBay. If you want, we go halves. I said, fine, that's fine. I didn't even think about. I did think about selling them, but it's an awful lot of work. When you got, it's all right, you know. If you've got one item to put on eBay, that's all right, isn't it? You know. But when you got like 7, 8 crates of CD singles, that's an awful lot of work, and for not much money, to be honest. Anyway, what he reckons he's going to do is kind of put them in packs of 10. And then put those on eBay and see if anything happens, and he'll give me the half the money. So that's all right, isn't it? So I've now actually moved them. I've moved them into an area of my house where they're not in the way downstairs. They're all ready to take. So that was it. And then on Friday I went back up there and I pulled all the boards up, bar 2, where you kind of crawl into, so that the entire loft is now ready for them to come. And, you know, 4 weeks ahead of schedule. So I'm well pleased with myself there. Well, once I'd done that, I started looking around the house for other things to do. I don't know what you're like, but I tend to leave things. There has been a switch, an electrical switch, kind of, every time I turn it on or off, it kind of drops forward a little bit, and I just push it back up again. Well, it's been like that for 3 years. I fixed that. And then I had a little look around, and outside I remembered my outside tap was always coming away from the wall. It's held in with 2 screws. So I went and fixed that as well. And I'm very pleased. 2 little jobs I'd fixed. Both jobs have been waiting to be done for like 3 years. Honestly. Oh, I just leave these things. Now, one of the other reasons I did it is because I bought a new gadget to do these jobs. Let me see. Zach wants to know, did you buy this thing that you're making the noise with, or did you find it in the loft? I bought it. And this is the reason that I did the jobs. Fag Ashley's got it right. She says an electric screwdriver. Yes. I feel very James Bond now. So I've got my electric screwdriver. What a wonderful gadget this is. I love it. And it's got a little light on it as well. That lights up when you use it on the front. So illuminating the hole into which you are about to drill or screw. And it fixed my tap outside, and really the tap has now almost become part of the wall. It will not budge at all. So I'm very pleased with myself for fixing those 2 items. Well done, Chris. Okay. Tom Harris, by the way, is with you directly after me at 4 o'clock here on United Kingdom Radio, all right? Email address once again, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, have you got time for one more email? I think we have. And it's from the lovely Robert in Iceland, who says, I came across an interesting snippet of information and wondered if you had heard of it. One of our headaches for we Europeans is the very long line at airports to pass through immigration at major hubs, and in particular Orlando International Airport. One suggestion is to use one of the smaller airports, which is a great idea. However, the information I have found out is both strange and interesting. That's because you are a strange and interesting person, you Robert. Shannon Airport has a sort of outstation of the American Immigration Border Service, and one can pass through immigration there. Which on the face of it sounds a great idea, and I wonder why other airports do not do the same. The turning of the year continues, of course, and once again, this morning, we're on a new paragraph. Well, I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. Shannon Airport. What's Shannon Airport got to do with Orlando? Is this Shannon in Ireland? You're not quite making sense there, Robert. Shannon Airport has a sort of outstation of the American Immigration Border Service, and one can pass through immigration there. Well, how would you get from Orlando to Shannon? That's not enough information there. Please, if you're going to give advice, we need a bit more information. I'm not sure what the hell you're going on about there. Robert continues. The turning of the year continues, of course, and once again this morning I noticed a slight greying of the upper reaches of our mountains, and yet, according to the news, it is too early yet to call a close on summer, as warmer weather is expected from the middle of the coming week, which of course it was last week, because this email is a week old. I was going to say a year old, then I'm not that bad. Wait a year. He says, and yet part of me wishes for it to come, that's winter, and then perhaps it might leave sooner, and we will have reached summer once again. And yes, I see a flaw in my logic, but we are not always logical creatures. Yeah, me the least, actually. I'm not logical at all. As I write this email, it's Sunday morning, and when I woke this morning, it was to silence, which can only mean the geese, the geese have left, and I wish them well, as they embark on their crossings of the great oceans and seas. I have not seen any Arctic terns now for a while, and can only assume that they too have left on their journey to the South Pole. They're all leaving you. All leaving you. What a fantastic feat of both navigation and stamina. That's the birds flying. For it is not like that a big bird, and yet it lives its life in perpetual daylight. My hometown of Yeary last night celebrated its cultural nights. And yes, dear listener, I did not attend, but rather took the rare opportunity to sit down in the front of the TV and watch Taggart. Well, that's an old programme now. I know, and yet rest assured that this is not normally the way I spend my evenings. And then, as I started to doze, I heard a sound that fair wakened the Viking in me. The Vikings, the Vikings. Some person or persons were blowing the Viking horn. That's a Viking horn, incidentally. Fag Ashley says, does Robert fly to Orlando and once cleared can pass through the American outpost at Shannon? I don't understand what you're saying there either. I don't know what you're talking about, either of you. It's too complicated for me, this chat. I don't know what you're saying. He says, I reached for my chopper, he says, sorry, axe, from under the bed, and with my Viking hat with horns, I started to answer the call of the brethren. Yes. And then I realised that perhaps I might have another sip of some grappa and return to my pit and the dreams of my fathers. For those that dwell in the land of facts and not fantasies, then, of course, I come from Anglo-Saxon stock and not Viking stock. However, being a Viking is a state of mind, and the land absorbs one, and if you know its song, then you become Viking by absorption. I feel I must also comment on the news that our friend Tom Harris has decided, well, he is back now, had decided to take a break from his show. I understand his reasons, and yet I hope he might consider and carry on with his show. Yes, he's carrying on. Tom is back. Tom is back. I would like to go on record as saying both his show and yours have become an integral part of my day. That's nice. It's a nice thing to say that. I'm an integral part of your day. There is nothing wrong with us carrying on in the same format. We love the continuity, and this needs to be fresh or whatever. Not so. Well, not in my book. We are friends because they are constant. We love them for that. To entertain, then perhaps, yes, it is so, and yet both your shows are not entertainment. No, they're not. We just share our lives with you. That's all it is. They are far more than that. You, both of you, are a link between peoples. We are, in a very real way, a family, a community of different and yet the same souls. I therefore once again like to publicly thank Tom Harris. I know he will still be around and will do other things, but I for one are going to miss his show. No, Tom's not gone. Tom is still here. Do not worry. That's what United Kingdom Radio is all about, you see. We are a collection of different personalities doing our own thing. And it's time for me to go, and I shall be doing my own thing again live here at unitedkingdomradio.co.uk on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 11 o'clock UK time, and on Saturday afternoons at 3 o'clock UK time. Now, Tom Harris is with you straight after me. Boys and girls, if you do miss any of the other shows, then you can always find those by going to unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right, unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Email address for the show, join in at any time, is Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Brent says, great show, Chris, although admittedly the Viking horn thing was a bit random. But here goes, the Gold Coast is about 1 a.m, time for a snooze. Yeah, time for you Australians to go to bed. Thanks for waiting up for us, all right? See you on the next show. For myself, Chris.